Hey everybody, I don't know if can you see me? Can you hear me? All right. So this is just going to be a fireside chat. I'm going to try to get some better light so you can actually see me. I just won't be long. It's beautiful Costa Rica in the back. Can you see that? The mountains there. All right, y'all. So here we are. This is my very first Periscope. And I don't really know what you're seeing on your end. And thank you so much for your comments. I've been so full. I've been spilling over. And if you've been on the Sunday prayer calls, you know that this probably started almost 2 months ago. I've been in my own process, if you will. So I actually feel like I am about to preach my initial sermon. I don't even think I was this nervous when I went up to do my initial sermon. And I had to do 2. No, I think I had to do 3. Three at Intervisions and 1 in Union Temple. Shout out to my family. So that's how you know when Spirit is moving, because this is going to be a revival. But I have to let you in on a little secret. The revival is mine. If you get revived, rebirthed, resurrected, that's what I'm all about. That's the reason why I stood up in the first place. And sometimes a revival is an interruption to... My eyes are cut off. Put the camera. My eyes are cut off. What? Can you see me now? Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me? No, we see you. I was fine. Thank you. Oh my God. You see me fine? Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, all right, I'll start again. But sometimes when it's time for you to come out, it's an interruption. It is an interruption to everything. And I know, some people may ask, well then, like, how is it that, you are coming out? You've been out. That's what some of you think. I always say this, that once you are called, you're called more than one time. Many of us answer one call and we stop and we get stuck right there at that particular call. And then we ignore the many calls that we get along the way. And I've been called many times. Sometimes it's exhausting how many times I've been called. I thought that one thing would be my place, and then I get called to another place. I swear to you that my journey has felt like Hagar. So this is why it matters. If you know anything about Hagar, and I ain't trying to preach. I'm gonna be brief here. But Hagar was chosen. She was chosen in unlikely circumstances, and then she was put out. She was treated like the black sheep. And Hagar had to run to and fro with her baby. Until she was willing to die. Yes, I'm full. I said I was full. Show me some love. Show me some love. And it wasn't until she was willing to lay her baby down that the well of Zamzam came up. It's still known today. It's a holy place. And of course, there's more to that story. I have so much to share with you over these 14 days that I knew I needed to tell you why coming out matters. Because I know that there are still people who are anointed, who are leaders. You're leading in the front. You're in the front, but you're still hiding. That's who I'm talking to. Some of you who may be hiding, introverted, shy, undercover. Okay, yes, I'm talking to you. May get something. You may let it drop on you, right? Let me drip on you. But I'm talking to the ones of you who are leading. You're in the front. You got the mic. You got the uniform, the robe. You got it. You may even have it all, but you're still hiding. That was me. And the reason why I was hiding for many, many years, and I was playing hide and go seek. I was playing hide and go seek, right? With myself. Please tell me if you get that. Just tell me I get it. Just tell me I get it. I didn't want to really tell my story because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Because I did the healing work. Some of you can relate. I've done the forgiveness work. I know the spiritual technology. I teach it, right? I still was holding on to my story. And I know that there's some of you who are gifted in many places. And just because you're talented in a place does not necessarily mean that that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing, right? And, just because you can sing doesn't necessarily mean that you're a singer. Just because you can do technology, you may be anointed to sing. Just because you are good at writing, but you really want to go and do something physical, something in the arts, it doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to your family. It doesn't make sense to your money. We're going to talk a lot about money in these 14 days because money definitely has cracked me wide open, my money story. But my point is, for me, I spent many years believing that I was the black sheep, a black sheep in my family. That story lived inside of me. I did the work around the story. It's my pain that led me to my ministry. I was called even when I was praying and asking for a savior, to be saved from the pain that I was in. Because I think that there are people like me and you who don't have stories of being in the streets, who don't have stories of doing drugs, who don't have stories of being raped. We don't, although there is more I need to tell you about that. But we don't have the hardcore, street story, the rags to rich. We may not have that. And sometimes that woman gets lost. That woman gets lost in her performance. That woman gets lost in, as long as she is doing okay by all measurements of society. What happens to that woman? I call her the good girl. At least because the good girl complies. I didn't always feel like the good girl. A black sheep can't feel like the good girl. But what happens with a black sheep is you feel like, okay, well, I don't want to keep getting in trouble. I don't want to keep on I don't want that label. That's not necessarily me. And so what the black sheep does is the black sheep either goes to one extreme or the other. And so I did become very compliant, and for me, my drug of choice was God. Come on now, you can say amen or ouch. Talk to me. Can anybody relate to that? My drug of choice was God. Because when I didn't have anywhere else to go, I knew how to pray. I came from a praying family. Hell, I was bilingual. I went to Catholic church and at about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that we only do it an hour. Then I got out and I could go get in the car with my godmother and then go to the Baptist church. And so I knew how to pray. I had praying women. I had praying matriarchs all around me. That's not a problem. I'm not positioning that as a problem. But I am positioning it when the religious part of you starts to take over, because religion can be a drug, y'all. It's an addiction. And I'm not just talking to Christians or Muslims. See, your veganism can be a religion. Your goddess worship, your dark goddess, light worker, whatever you want to call it, all of it can be a religion. You can get religious about anything. And so in my escape, I thought that I could be safe with God. And I found it and then I lose it, and then I find it and I lose it, because inside of me, underneath that, I didn't believe that I was loved. I didn't. It started with, my parents' divorce. And let me say this. Some people say, well, play violin. I'm holding with, play a violin on that thing, right? Don't let anybody minimize your story, because I am an empath. I was gifted very early as a child. Some of you call it the prophetic gift. Some of you you call it many things. But my gift, I was an empath. So that means I was a sensitive child. I felt everything. I internalized everything. I spent many years trying to figure out, why does it hurt me so much? I thought something. So then you start to tell yourself that something's wrong with you, because in the South, there's nobody taught what an empath is. Maybe in the North too, but I can only speak for the South. Maybe in the Caribbean, maybe here in Costa Rica, right? I was an empath, so I felt everything. I also was gifted, very clairvoyant, clairescent. And I could know that things were going to happen before they happened. But nobody was around me to show me how to position my gifts. So even you add up feeling unloved, being the black sheep, and then you begin to follow a program. And so for me, I felt like, well, hell, if I don't belong in this family, I'll create one of my own. And so I got married early, at 19 years old. I got married. That's not a problem either. Not positioning this as a problem. Sometimes when it's time to play a bigger game, it's not about the problem. It's about the position. And sometimes we hold a position and it's time to let it go, because the position is still under the veil of righteousness, of being right. Because not righteousness to please God, but of being right about I'm not wrong. So look, this revival is going to be very casual. You may get some nuggets along the way. I'm not doing a 1, 2, 3. I'm not exegeting the sermon. I know how to do it. I hadn't done it in a long time. I can't exegete a sermon. That's not what I'm doing. I'm sharing my heart with you. And I pray that my heart connects with your heart. And I pray that the nuggets that I share remove the obstacles that stand in the way of you showing up. Now, From black sheep, I went to prodigal. I am your proverbial prodigal daughter. I own it 100%. Anybody along the way that I hurt, that I left, that I didn't know, I was unconscious. It was self-protection. If I had a philosophy, a working philosophy is, I don't want nobody who don't want me. Come on now, say out your amen. That's some old school matriarch stuff. Baby, my mom used to say, baby, you don't want nobody that don't want you. Come on now, come on. Y'all talk to me, please, a little bit. So I had the gift of goodbye until it became a curse, because I just didn't know. I didn't know that what I was doing. And all the time when you think that you are leaving, Bob Marley says, you're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. But you can't run away from yourself. So I say that to say that there's a blessing in being prodigal, though. Sometimes being prodigal is necessary in order for you to even release the anointing and the oil that's on your life. Your prodigal does not have to look like the proverbial story. But what I like about the story is everything that was already his, everything that was already destined for him was already there. He didn't have to earn it. No matter what he told himself. Even with Hagar. Can y'all relate to what I'm saying? Let me check in with you. I wanted to pause a minute and just check in with you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for those of you who are watching. And the way that this begins to show up is we start to focus on fixing ourselves because we've been so told that we aren't right or are wrong or whatever, whether it's the culture, whether it's something else, whatever the case may be. And then when we go to fixing ourselves, we start trying to fix other people. And I'm not talking about coaching, because the whole premise of being a coach or a healer is not about fixing. You're not doing a damn thing. It's God doing all the work. Because the truth is that people are perfect, whole, and complete. They just forgot their way. So you're not fixing anybody. There's a lot of coaches out here that's throwing salt in the game. And I that's not directed at anybody, but I'm talking about how I was taught. We're not here to fix anybody. And so you go from that to wondering why you are giving and giving and giving, and then you're not getting what you're giving out in return, whether it be in relationships, love relationships, whether it be in business, whether it be in the church, whether it be in the mosque, whether it be on your job. And then you look at your bank account and you see it doesn't match, and you're tired and your adrenals are blown and you're worn out. And all of this is a gumbo. All of this is a cocktail for hiding and being hidden. And you're wondering why they can't see you. So then you are comparing yourself to other people who you may think are chosen. You look at their brand. Branding is big right now. But it's a lot of branding with a whole bunch of broken hearts, broken people looking for validation through their so-called brand or through their business. And all of this shows up in our money. It shows up in our affairs. And sometimes we can't hear it until we broke, busted, and disgusted, right? So I am grateful. I am so grateful for this process that started really when I answered another call that had been nagging and pulling on me for years. Rebirth International. Many of you know that I've had it and have been working it. Some of you are my clients. Some of you have been my clients. Some of you have been my sisters in the journey along the way. And it got so uncomfortable. I was carrying this baby. I was carrying so many other people. In fact, I probably would have had a few children by now, but I was carrying so many other people. I had my titty in other people's mouths who didn't ask to be nursed. Somebody gonna get that later. And then we feel resentful when we're giving to people who didn't even ask to be given to. So I say that because this is why coming out matters. Coming out is not just about you getting a microphone. Coming out is not about your brand. Coming out is not about who can see you. If nobody showed up for this Periscope, I had to do this for myself. Moving to Costa Rica, nobody understood the call to Costa Rica, but I had to answer it. Any of the things that I have done, it's been, yes, God definitely has used people, and I've gotten nervous. I have wanted to back away. I wanted to run away. But when you answer the call, because it's not out of pain, but out of your prosperity, nobody can prosper you like your love for who you are. Your love for even your pain body. I'm grateful for that. I'll be writing my book this year, and I want you to hold me accountable for it. I'm going to be sharing in many ways parts of the book, parts of myself. I'm repositioning, even rebirth. And I don't think that's an accident. You know, a lot of times we think that that we got to get it perfect. I definitely was a perfectionist. And so that's one of the reasons why I didn't do videos, because I wanted to have all the right equipment. I wanted to be able to do it like Lisa Nichols did it, or my mentor, Iyanla Van Zandt, or whoever. But one thing Iyanla used to say to me, say to all of us, so many people, she said, if you want to be Iyanla Van Zandt, the question is, do you want to carry the pain, the cross that Iyanla Van Zandt had to carry? Nobody can carry your cross. I don't know what number I'm on of a nugget, but nobody can carry your cross but you. You are the one that has the rebirth. You know, I used to think that Neo was, when you look at the Matrix and coming out of the Matrix, that was even a call. And I talk about it and I share about it and that type of thing. But even coming out of the Matrix, and, you know, if you want to talk about the Matrix, we can talk about that a little bit. But when you look at Neo, it's really a play on etymology for the one. But it also is the play on the neophyte's journey, because there is more. That's one level of awakening. And there are many levels of awakening. And I used to wonder how, you see, for me, I couldn't just be in the pulpit and preach a certain way. And I know I'm walking heavy, but I wanna be I wanna be careful, full of care, because this is no indictment on anybody else. But I couldn't position. I couldn't do it. I didn't understand how some of my other colleagues could do it. Because they would have conversations in private that they couldn't have in public, and I got caught, because you know why? Somebody say why. Help me out here. Somebody say why. Come on now. Come on. And I didn't introduce myself for the new people. I didn't just jump right in here. I'm so sorry. Y'all don't even know who the hell I am, why I'm talking about any of this. I'll do better next time. Where was I? Because when I first got called into ministry, I knew that I would be an interruption. I wrote it. It's evident. You could go back to my lessons when we had to flush out, when I had to defend, because we had to defend our whole call, our initial sermon, before we even went through the initiation process. And I knew I would be an interruption, but that thing scared me. And I'll just close on this. Sometimes the thing that scares you is the thing that is you. It's not about your skill level all the time. And sometimes it's people who have more confidence than they do skill or ability. But they go out and it looks like, they have it together. And so what I'm saying to you is I knew that I would be an interruption. Maybe the thing that you are called to do is an interruption. But the thing is, this is so key. You have to interrupt your own bullshit. You have to be able to tell on yourself to yourself. You have to be able to do the work. There's no spiritual bypasses on this thing, because when you do the bypasses, you will cross back over it. Anything that you do not heal, anything that you do not feel, ride it all the way out. Anything that you do not deal with, you are going to revisit it. And it's going to show up in other people, in other relationships, in other circumstances. It's going to show up in your money. It's going to show up in the excuses you give, in your righteousness. It's going to show up in all of the ways that you hide you. This is why coming out matters. Coming out matters is not even for anybody else's acceptance. But I'm calling all of you spiritual warriors out. I'm calling all of you out. Come out of her. What? What her? So you got to tune in tomorrow. 12 noon. We're going to go higher. If anything I said to you made any sense, will you just let me know? Anybody? You was touching my heart because I was beating so fast. Okay, thank you. Thanks to everybody. I didn't want to call out everybody's name, because maybe you didn't want your name called out. But thank you so much for tuning in today. It's just time for a lot of us to play a bigger game. Those of us that's been in the middle, the ones of us that's just been hovering, the ones of us that's been, playing it. And I'm not talking about for nobody else. I want you to hear that. I ain't talking about your damn brand. Woo! I ain't talking about that. I'm telling you, study this thing that's happening with this branding. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the wholeness that many of us are being called to, and sometimes is uncomfortable. So I'll share more along the way. Thank y'all for joining. I don't know necessarily how to end this thing. Let me just tell you that real quick. I think somebody tell me what to do. I think I got to swipe it to the right or something like that. Woo! Yes, indeed. Will you all come back and join me tomorrow? I'll play with this thing some more. Yes, honey. Hagar. I've been Hagar, prodigal, black sheep. How do you package that? Just call me Butterfly, because I've been born again and again and again. And some of you will be. And that's my work. That's my work. Yep. Okay, y'all. Let me see how to stop this thing. I love y'all, and there's nothing you can do about it. I forgot to tell you. And there's a reason why I say that. I'm going to tell you why I say that. All right? All right, y'all. Peace. Oh, that's Costa Rica. I don't know how to end the scope. Woo! There we go.